right, tithing.
Yep.
What do we do with that? Do we have to tithe? Are we obligated to tithe? If we do tithe, where does it go? What do you think? Somebody asks you about tithing. What do you tell them?
Yeah, great question. Common question, I think. Four biblical observations. Number one, tithing is required of Old Testament Israel.
Yeah.
The word tithe actually means tenth.
Yeah.
And no, I don't think we are required to give a tenth of our income in the same way Old Testament Israel did.
Right.
We're not under the Mosaic covenant law in the same way. In fact, they had more than just the tithe. They had a number of things that was required of them. But no, I don't think it applies to us directly. So observation one, not a particular percentage. Observation number two, not compelled.
Right.
So I think of 2 Corinthians 9:7, which says, not reluctant, people should give, quote, not reluctantly or under compulsion, but cheerfully.
Yeah.
Not under compulsion.
Right.
We cannot compel them.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Observation number three, I would say Christians are called to give cheerfully,
Yeah.
generously, and according to their means.
Right.
Okay, so again, some New Testament texts. I think of 1 Corinthians 6:2, which says, in keeping with your income.
Yeah.
I think of 2 Corinthians 8:3, which says, according to their means.
Right.
Right? So point one, according to your means, according to your income.
Yeah.
Right? Second, but generously.
Yeah.
So 2 Corinthians 8:2 and 3 and 7 say the Macedonians were rich in their generosity beyond their ability.
Yeah.
And he's calling the Corinthians to also excel in this grace of giving. And then third, of course, cheerfully. So on the one hand, no, I don't think we can give Christians a particular percentage, but I think one, according to your means, two, generously, three, cheerfully.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the fourth biblical observation I would make is that I think you should prioritize one's church.
Right.
So 1 Timothy 5, let the elders who rule well be considered worthy of double honor, especially those whose labor in preaching and teaching. For the scripture says, you shall not muzzle the ox when it treads out the grain, and the labor it deserves his wages. Yeah. And then, of course, Galatians 6:6 says, let the one who is taught the word, share all good things with the one who teaches.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think the whatever percentage I have as a Christian, the first of it should go to my church.
Right.
What do you think, brother?
Yeah. I think that to that point, I think what we see implicit in the text is that the Christian's life is really centered in the church, and so all the instructions about where we're to give, I mean, we see things like for the support of the pastors, right, for the relief of the poor that are among us in the church, for the advancement of gospel works that go on through the world, and we see the church as the home base where all that stuff takes place. So it does make sense that as we give, I do think that the church is that home base, that primary place that we give to, and money flows.
Now, when somebody's joining my church, I'll often give the counsel, hey, look, the Bible doesn't restrict you to a certain percentage, but I would suggest 10%.
Yeah.
I'm cheating a little bit because I just said it applies to Old Testament Israel, but I think 10% is an advisable, a prudential place to start to be giving to your church. Do you say anything like that?
So we start off, and so what I do is I say, I think the Bible is going to address our attitude more than the amount.
Cheerfully.
Yeah.
Generously.
And so when Paul tells them to give, Paul's going to say, y'all remember Christ. And then he's going to put Christ's gift in monetary word, right? Yeah. Who was rich, but for your sake he became poor so that you might become rich. And that's how Paul's going to compel them. And it's funny when you see Christ talk about the amounts, he celebrates a widow that gave it all. Yeah. And then he tells a rich man, give it all, right? So it's like, all is a lot. Now I'm saying, Christ ain't saying give it all, but he's trying to talk about an attitude where we just know that it's all his. And I think when we know that and have a vision for what he did for us, then I do think that, when we do talk about trying to give according to our means, we create a generous group of people and not folks who just kind of grin and bear it and give under compulsion. So.
Okay, so not compelled, according to our means, cheerfully, generously. Brother, do you preach? You're a full-time preacher.
Yeah.
Do you exhort the whole congregation in this direction in your sermons? Do you talk about this?
Yes. So what we'll do is, so we've been a church for 4 years, and to this date we haven't done a stewardship series, because what we do is when we get to the text, it's
That's
just
what you say.
Or we apply it, and there's so many places to apply generosity, and so we're constantly just trying to call our folks to that, to be like that with their time, with their
So you don't need a
stewardship
series because you're just kind of regularly applying it
all the way through. Yeah.
Okay, how about this? What about in one-on-one discipling?
Yeah.
Will you ever ask a guy, hey, how's your giving going?
Yes.
How does that conversation go?
We've actually had folks in our home, college students, or young adults, spend 3 weeks with us when we had a home that could fit them. And throughout that time, we're teaching them how to study the Bible, how to share their faith, how to manage their money. And so we sit down and do a budget with all of them. And within that, we talk about what they give to the church and just say, hey, this is a part of it, right? We don't want to shy away from it. We don't want to make it the main thing, but it is a thing that you need to be instructed on. So as a pastor, I do not know the amount that anybody in the church gives. And
that wouldn't be good for your heart.
No, it's good for my, it's good for my heart and my soul.
Yours sounds like an awesome church. Can I join it?
Come on. All right, Jonathan, thanks again, man.
You too.
Yeah.